In this video, there is a short segment where we talk about abortions. If this is something that you might find triggering, I will put all the timestamps in the description below so that you can just avoid that section. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Naomi Cave. This is a video which is unscripted, like my previous video. I just want to chat to you so that I can get these videos out, because quite honestly I'm quite scared about being on here talking about all things women's health, especially things that I haven't experienced, but I keep thinking about, like having a babies, planning for babies and all of that stuff. But I can talk to you about my contraception journey. Listen, if there's one thing my mum told me is no babies. I took that to heart and I wasn't planning on having unplanned pregnancies because, quite frankly, I didn't want to make the tough decision. I'm pro-choice. You know, honestly, given that option, it would be very hard for me to keep a baby. Okay, I was just editing this video and I thought this little segment required a little bit more thought. I was going to just fly over it, but it's quite a big topic, and so I thought I'd lay down my thoughts. I am very much pro-choice, but I think being in the medical field, I understood the theoretical aspect of abortions. And I was watching a video yesterday also, and it was just talking about the actual procedure, what happens. And I must admit, it made me feel a bit uncomfortable. And so whilst I am pro-choice and there is no judgment, I am very grateful that in the UK, women can exercise their right to choose if that's what they wish. I want to ensure that I'm using my freedoms right now to find the best contraception for me so that I don't have any unplanned pregnancies. Abortion is so wildly complex. There are many reasons why someone would have an abortion, and that could be medical reasons, not right time, not right partner. Abhorrent things can happen that mean that you're in that situation and it's out of your control. This is why I am pro-choice, but I am going to take the things that I can control and control them to the best of my ability. So if I don't want an unplanned pregnancy, then just using the contraception available to me and finding the best one that suits me. Lastly, and probably most importantly, I have the utmost respect and empathy for anyone who's ever had to make this really tough decision. Just thinking about it theoretically, what would I do? I even find it a struggle to make that decision. So my heart goes out to you if you've ever had to make that decision. And it's really tough being in a position where you feel like you have no options. So I'm glad that we have many options. So the first thing I went on was the pill. And honestly, I don't even remember what pill I had. I just know I was on the pill. I am pretty sure I was on the combined oral contraceptive pill. The pill contains two hormones, estrogen and progestogen. The pill works by stopping ovulation, so that means it stops the release of an egg from the ovary. It also changes the lining of your womb, making it less likely for an egg to attach, even if it were to fertilize. It also increases the mucus plug that is around your cervix so that it becomes thicker, stopping the sperm from getting into the uterus to then fertilize the egg. In this video, I will also discuss the implant and the patch. Both of these work similarly to the oral contraceptive pill in their mechanism of action and how they prevent pregnancy. Not gonna lie, I'm not sure if I'm just not that susceptible to hormones, or at the time I didn't introspect enough to think about what I was feeling and what my body was telling me and how to navigate life. I was a teenager. Life just sucks when you're a teenager. But I was on the pill for a bit and I didn't really mind it. I like the fact that I could take the pill for long periods of time, because normally they tell you to do a withdrawal bleed. This is just a polite reminder that this is not medical advice. I am not your personal physician. Please speak to your personal physician about any decisions you have regarding contraception or anything you hear about on this channel. Anyway, I had the withdrawal bleed, but I also knew that anytime I needed to go on holiday or anything, I could just carry on taking the pill so that I did not have periods, which was nice. It's good to be able to control when blood flows out of your vagina, quite frankly. This is probably a good time to note that this was also the heaviest I had ever been. And so I'm guessing that was because of the pill. With the pill, you have to take it every day. And I was a teenager. I was in university. I did not take it all the time. Then I would have scares like, oh my gosh, what if I get pregnant? And then I took, I think what you call plan B. Is that plan B? I don't know. But basically morning after pills. just because I was a bit scared. I then went on to the patch. The patch was similar to the pill. You take it for 3 weeks and then you could have like a withdrawal bleed, and you put it on your skin for 7 days and then you change it and put another patch on. That only lasted a couple of months. The problem with the patch, firstly, is they all come in light colours, so it's very obvious that I have the patch. I was like, you need to get different skin shades for this patch, because if you're white, then yes, it can blend in lovely in your skin. If you're black, no chance. Secondly, my skin was so irritated, I was just left with rash around where the patch was stuck on. So the next thing I used was the implant. The implant is a small flexible tube which is put under the surface of your skin on the upper part of your arm. It releases progestogen, which is a female sex hormone similar to progesterone. The first few weeks of the implant, it's just awful, erratic bleeding. Some people didn't have periods, but I'd have really irregular cycle lengths, and then, oh, there you go, here's a little bleed. And I'm like, I'm not prepared for this. Please go away. I think then I noticed that my mindset just wasn't good. And I think after that, I was so done with hormones after having the implant. I just could not do it again. I was moody, I was crabby, I felt awful all the time. And I'm surprised I had 2 of these in. I think the first time I took it out early. In fact, both times I took it out early. I don't know why I did it twice to myself, but the implant was not for me. Also, some people really hate feeling things under their skin. I don't mind. It also hurt, kind of difficult to get an appointment. But I did like the fact that for 3 years, you don't have to worry about it. At this point, after the implant, I was done with hormones. I then inserted the copper coil. Oh, the copper coil. She was meant to last 10 years. She lasted about 2 years. Having a copper coil inserted into your uterus, creating an inflammatory environment, making your bleeds longer, painful, they were heavier. I used to go through, I remember I would wear like a maxi pad and a supersized tampon, and I'd have to change my pad every hour. It was grim. You know, like people were saying, oh, you know, you don't know whether this is your mood or whether this is the hormones. When your periods are so terrible and your cramps are so terrible, it doesn't really matter. I don't think you can even have time to reflect on how your mood has been throughout the month, because those 7 days are just so horrendous and it's not worth it. The problems that came along with the heavy, long bleeding is I also got anemia. So anemia is when you don't have enough red blood cells in your body. I was tired all the time. I was short of breath. Exercise tolerance absolutely shot out the window. Could not exercise. I had heart palpitations. My hands felt cold. I felt tired all the time, dizzy, lightheadedness. It was really bad. And then I came onto the Mirena, and it was a breath of fresh air. Hormones localized to the uterus. I have a regular cycle. My periods are lighter. In fact, I can't even call them periods, it's spotting. My mood has pretty much been stable being on the Mirena coil as it was on the copper coil. I know exactly when me and my husband are going to have arguments. It's like clockwork. A week before my period, I am grouchy. I'm not gonna have a sensible, rational conversation with you. And I just pre-warned my husband now. I'm like, Jack, it's a week before. Get your armor ready, get your shield ready, because I am going to be a bit irrational and a bit cryy and a bit hormonal. And that was the same with the copper coil, and it is the same with the Mirena coil. So I really like the idea of knowing that this is sadly just me. You know, what can you do about that? That's been my journey with contraception. I tell you this story because over a woman's reproductive sexual health journey, they are you have a time and a place for everything. So you have a time where you want to prevent pregnancy, a time when you want to actively try to conceive, to have babies, and then menopause. And until then, we have so many products in our armor that we can pick and choose from to figure out what is right for us. One thing that did not work for me, the copper coil, has worked beautifully for a couple of people I know. They have been on it for 3-4 years, no anemia. They have been pretty settled on that. So just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. Just because I decided not to take the pill doesn't mean it won't work for you. But you have so many options. I mean, just to name a few off my head: the patch, the implant, the depot injection, the progesterone only pill, the progesterone and estrogen pill, the Mirena coil, Kyleena, the copper coil, the ring, the vaginal ring, the diaphragm, the cervical cap, condoms. There's so many things. And that's just things I'm naming off the top of my head. But there's so many things that you can use to help you prevent pregnancies if that's what you want to do, hormonally or non-hormonally. We are just in such a blessed age where we can decide how we want to control our bodies and our hormones, and when and if we want to have babies. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this random chit chat about my hormonal contraception, and I hope it gives you food for thought that you don't have to just settle with something that isn't right for you. Yeah. So I hope that was at least interesting. I enjoyed talking, and I will see you in the next video.